Welcome to Reno's World podcast, where truth slips through the cracks and myth whispers in the dark. I'm Reno Reigns. Tonight's topic is, did the Anunnaki rob us of our gold? We play an old movie in the background because, well, this is a podcast, and we like to keep things interesting. Buckle up. Let's dive in. They were never just gods. That's the lie. That's the bedtime story. You've heard it your whole life and never questioned it. Mythology, right? Let me ask you, why do so many of these ancient stories agree on one impossible detail? They came from the sky, and they came for the gold. Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Sumer, the first written language, the first laws, the first city-states, the first records of beings from elsewhere. They were called the Anunnaki, those who came from the heavens to earth. Not figuratively, not metaphorically, literally. That's what the word means. They weren't worshipped like abstract deities. They were feared like rulers, beings of flesh, power, and control. And then there's this. The Sumerians didn't just mention the Anunnaki in passing. They built their whole civilization around them. Their gods had ranks, jobs, missions. Why would a culture invent such hyper-specific duties for imaginary sky beings? Why give one the job of overseeing the mines? Let's talk Enlil, Anunnaki commander, known for wiping out entire cities with storms when humans disobeyed. His brother Enki, the geneticist. Enki, who allegedly created humanity by combining Anunnaki DNA with something terrestrial, a worker race, primitive but programmable, designed for labor, specifically to mine gold. That's not a theory. That's in the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth derived from earlier Sumerian texts. It literally states that the gods bore the toil and rebelled until a solution was found. Let us make man in our image to bear the yoke. Now pause. Why gold? Why not iron or copper? Why gold? Because gold is more than currency. Gold reflects infrared. Gold doesn't corrode. Gold is a superconductor. And now we're finding out it's used in satellite circuitry and space-bound tech. So if an advanced race needed a substance for stabilizing atmospheres or sustaining long-term planetary tech, gold would be high on the list. Jump to South Africa. The oldest known mines on Earth, some 200,000 years old, exist in the region known as the Abzu in Sumerian lore, Enki's domain. Coincidence? The official explanation? We don't know who mined them or why. Probably for pigment. Pigment? Who carves into bedrock with prehistoric tools for color? In 1976, Zecharia Sitchin blew the lid off everything with the 12th planet. He translated Sumerian cuneiform tablets that mainstream academia either couldn't or wouldn't. He said the Anunnaki came from Nibiru, a rogue planet in an elongated orbit, one that only returns to our solar system every 3,600 years. According to Sitchin, their planet's atmosphere was failing. They needed gold dust to sustain it. Wild, right? Except that NASA now acknowledges the existence of a theoretical Planet 9 on a similar orbit. Too far to see, but its gravitational footprint exists, a planet on the fringe, pulling at our system like a ghost limb. So let's line it up. Ancient records describe sky gods arriving on fire chariots, reshaping the earth, digging mines, creating man. Sumerian kings claim to descend directly from the Anunnaki. Egyptian pharaohs claim the same, divine bloodlines. The Book of Enoch talks of watchers, beings who descended upon Mount Hermon and interbred with humans. They taught metallurgy, weaponry, sorcery. The flood that wiped them out echoes the Sumerian flood tale, which also came with a warning from Enki to a human survivor. This isn't isolated. This is global. The Dogon tribe in Mali has ancient knowledge of Sirius B, an invisible star astronomers only confirmed in the 20th century. How? Why did they say their gods came from there? And why do their origin myths match those of the Sumerians and the Egyptians and the Hopi and the Maori and the Mayans? And breathe. Even the Bible, stripped of metaphor, drops clues. Let us make man in our image. Who's us? And why was mankind's punishment at Babel? To scatter language? To prevent shared memory? People laugh at this. They laugh because they're scared. Because if even 10% of this is real, it rewrites everything. Who we are, where we came from, and who we still might be serving. Because here's the kicker, no one wants to touch. The elites, the royals, the old families, the bloodlines. They keep the symbols, the winged discs, the serpents, the pine cones. They worship behind closed doors. Not gods, but beings. They never left. They just went deeper underground. And what happened next would shock even the most hardened skeptic. You want answers? Then you better keep up, because they've been lying to you since the first time you picked up a history book. Let's start with the gold. Why gold? Why not iron or copper or hell, even diamonds? Why gold? Ask NASA. Ask why every satellite is coated in it, why every deep space probe, every telescope. Because it reflects radiation, because it conducts better than anything else, because it's chemically stable and doesn't corrode in space. In space. You get it yet? Now jump with me. Mesopotamia. First civilization, first writing, first government. What's the first thing they write about? Not farming, not family, gods, the Anunnaki, from the sky. Who told them how to build cities, how to keep time, how to worship? Not guesswork, etched in cuneiform on tablets that still exist in museums you can walk into today. But it goes deeper. They didn't just come to teach. The tablets say they came to mine gold in Africa. And when they got tired of doing the grunt work themselves, they made us. The Sumerian text literally says, "Let us create a Lulu, a worker to bear the yoke." That's not metaphor. That's gene splicing. That's ancient biotech. That's the gods didn't make us in their image. They engineered us like lab rats. And if you think that's a stretch, explain this. Why does human chromosome 2 look like someone took two separate chromosomes and fused them together with the precision of a molecular surgeon? We have 46 chromosomes. Apes have 48. Why the missing link? Where is it? Gone. Or never there. Because someone intervened. Still with me? Good. Now slam cut to Baalbek, Lebanon. Giant stones, megaliths, the ones at the base of the Temple of Jupiter, are over 800 tons. Modern cranes can't lift them. The Romans didn't build them. They built on top of them. Like they found something already there. A landing pad? A relay station? Why is there zero evidence showing how they were quarried, moved, or placed? Because they weren't. Not by us. And if you think the Catholic Church doesn't know, think again. In 2009, the Vatican straight up hosted a conference on extraterrestrial life. Their own astronomer, Reverend Funes, says it wouldn't contradict the faith to believe in aliens. Aliens, from the mouth of Rome. The same Vatican that owns an observatory named LUCIFR. I'm not making this up, look it up yourself. That tracks infrared objects in deep space. Why is the Vatican watching the stars? What are they waiting for? Jump again, South Africa. 200,000-year-old stone circles scattered across Mpumalanga. They're not ceremonial. They're not villages. They're machines, acoustic resonance devices. Dr. Michael Tellinger showed how some of these stones ring like tuning forks, sound energy, frequency. And where are they located? Right above the largest deposits of gold on Earth. Now go back to the artifacts. Metal spheres stored in a South African museum. Perfectly balanced grooves, made of nickel-steel alloy. Ancient, prehistoric, not naturally occurring. What were they used for? Nobody knows, but they weren't carved by hand. You can't even scratch them with modern tools. What were these things doing here before we had cities? Before we had language? What if we weren't first? In the book of Enoch, banned from the Bible, the Watchers descend. They teach mankind about metal, weapons, cosmetics. That's not spiritual guidance. That's industrial instruction. They get punished, bound beneath the earth, and before they go, they breed with humans. Nephilim, giants. Every culture has them. Sumerians, Hopi, Norse, Hindu. Why the consistency? Different continents, different eras, same stories, same sky gods, same gold. Now here's the twist, 2015. Harvard geneticist David Reich runs massive genome studies of ancient humans. What does he find? Our DNA didn't evolve in a straight line. It jumps, it fractures, it changes, interbreeding with something we don't recognize. And in 2023, U.S. intelligence declassifies UAP reports. Not drones, not balloons, objects performing impossible maneuvers. Instant stops, right-angle turns, ocean dives, no heat signatures. They don't fly. They ignore physics. And they're showing up over mining sites, power grids, nuclear facilities, like they're auditing us, checking inventory. And now go back, all the way back. The Sumerian king list says their first rulers lived for tens of thousands of years. Then there was a flood. Then suddenly kings lived human lifespans. Like a switch was flipped. Like they left, or got forced out, or hid. And we kept digging, kept ripping gold out of the earth. Why? Because it's valuable? Who decided that? Why not silver? Why not quartz? Why is gold the universal standard of wealth, even in cultures that never met? What if it's not ours? What if it never was? Every empire rises and falls on the back of gold. Every war, every power shift, and still, we don't eat it. We don't burn it. We store it. Why? Because somewhere deep down in our DNA, we remember. They came here for gold. They made us dig it up. They left or pretended to. And now, they might be coming back. Whether it was misunderstanding, cover-up, or something far stranger, this case remains unresolved and very real.